Welcome back to Chief Studios. My name is Taylor Bell, joined here with Coop. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm all right.
Awesome. Now, did you catch many of the games this weekend?
I saw a bunch of games this weekend. Saw a
What
lot
were
of
the
highlights
highlights?
also.
Yeah, that's what I do. To be completely honest, I know I probably should watch every game, but look, like we have kids, we have a we have a real life. So look, I'll watch as many as I can. But just a little insider tip: if you subscribe to the NFL YouTube channel, they condense a 3 hour game into like what, a 15 or 20 minute video where it basically gives you, cuts out all the 1 yard runs and no gain or incomplete passes, right? And then they show you, all the decent plays, all the big plays, all the big calls, all that stuff. So definitely rely on the NFL YouTube channel. Shout out to them. Another thing too, I paid for the NFL. What was it? All 22, right? Check this out. A little insider thing here as well, behind the scenes. So I paid for, it was on sale, right? But it was still expensive. It was like 70 something bucks, right? So I paid for the all access NFL stuff where you get the all 22 film where the coaches watch. And so I was making this video last week. I had this Chiefs highlight package with nothing but all 22 film. So I'm like, cool. I'm going to put this in the video. It's not going to get flagged on YouTube for copyright strike. Um, and I literally wasted probably half a day, hours on this, making this video, pulling clips, this and that. So I upload it to our YouTube channel. And then now I didn't hit publish, right? Because then that's when you get in trouble. They'll check it before you publish the video,
hmm
and boom, 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 boom. They hit. I didn't get copyright strikes, but they were like, they could basically give you a warning, say, hey, you can't put this out, And so I'm like, great. I paid for, this whole NFL package just for these little highlights, and now I can't even use them. Like, God damn it. Uh, anyways, long story short, but we can talk about them, and that's what we're here for right now. Yeah. So what are your big takeaways? And we'll go over our picks too. I know we started picks a little late into the season, but better late than never. But what were some of the big takeaways from this week? Look, I'm gonna say every. I think there was like two or three games that weren't close, or maybe out of a possession. But it seemed like every game I was watching on Sunday came down to the last second field goal here, last second there. It was great. Even last night, the Monday night game, which we'll get into. I mean, it was a fantastic weekend. And then also, real quick, I'll describe after we, at the end, I'll describe my thumbnail because I know people are going to see it and be like, Chiefs win on a bye week. I'll explain that. But what is your takeaway from this weekend's games? Anything that stood out?
um, the quarterback for Houston is the clear runaway for the rookie of the year. Needs to be in a different conversation now. More like MVP because he's out there showing out. That's my unpopular opinion. The Ravens are what I thought they were. Um, they let that team off the hook. Receiver plays bad. And also Josh Dobbs is balling for Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah,
Those are my takeaways.
he looked really good. From what I saw, I watched the extended or I guess condensed version of that Minnesota game, and he looks really good for just coming in there. Look, he's bounced around from team to team. I think recently he was on the Cardinals, filling in for um, damn it, why? I had a brain fart last week, and now I got a brain fart again today. Um,
Kyler,
Kyler Murray. He filled in for Kyler Murray. Decent, but look, they don't have, their roster is not great, Arizona. But you see when he goes to a decent or above average roster, Minnesota, he looks really good. Like he had a really good scramble for a touchdown. He can run, he can throw, and he's smart. Apparently, did you hear he's
Ivy League, right?
yes, Ivy League. I had no idea. Ivy League graduate, I believe. I mean, just and look, when you bounce around from team to team, when you have that kind of, I guess, defining career where you can go to a spot and fill a position, right? He's probably on the list of every NFL team where if your quarterback goes down, right, and they need to sign a QB real quick, he's probably at the top of the list of, hey, can we call Dobbs? Can we, is he on a team? He's one of those guys where you can depend. He's very intelligent. He can run. He can throw, and he proved himself on Sunday. Just yeah, I was very impressed by his play. So I'm really happy. I hope they rock with him for the rest of the year. And you never know. Um, you never know. He might have. Look, they're gonna. I believe Minnesota. I think they're gonna move on to a different QB next year.
Listen,
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk
I think
Cousins
his
might as well put his house on the market
yeah.
and pack his bags.
Yeah. You've gotten the best. Minnesota has gotten the best out of him that you can, right? They squeezed every ounce of or every drip of liquid out of that orange that they're squeezing with Kirk Cousins. So I think it's time for them to move on. He is out for the rest of the year, so I think it is time to keep Dobbs in, see what he can do for the second half of the year, and go draft a QB, right? And go from there. But I think they can definitely win some games with Josh Dobbs in at the QB spot. But damn, you were right on. I was watching the Ravens game. That was one game that I keep my eye on, right? So I'll have one game on. Typically it's the Chiefs, but I'll have a game that I watch from start to finish, but then on the second screen I'll have like red zone so I can keep in touch with the other scores. You were spot on with the Ravens, man, because I was watching this game. They look good coming out of the gate, but then, man, they struggled. Everything you said on the previous episode came true. Has that
Yeah.
been the story all year with the Ravens? I mean, they have a good record. Don't get me wrong, and they are a good team. But just like the Chiefs, there is a major flaw in the team, and you never know which week it's going to come and bite you in the ass, right?
Right. And it's like, as a fan, you have to be realistic. You gotta point out the flaws as well as the good. So I see it, and I see it being a major problem down in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. Come playoff time, you just hope that they figure something out by the playoffs. Because as you know, and as I know, I'm sure all the fans know that playoffs, you gotta have at least your biggest liability somehow, some way in check, or know how to counteract it. Because the Chiefs are the same way. The wide receivers are just non-existent. Um, but Cleveland looks mighty good. I mean, I was surprised at how they played. I mean, I know I shouldn't be, but they got a really, really good defense. And I guess it all falls on Deshaun Watson's shoulders, right? What kind of game is
Mhm.
he going to have? Because they got the running back, they got a decent offensive line. Who did they have for wide receiver? I don't even remember any of the
Amari
names.
Cooper.
Oh shit, you're right. How did I
Um,
forget that?
I forget their second uh,
So
receiver,
they
and they
got
got a
some
cool
players.
tight end too. So
Yeah, in Jagu or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's
Jago
right. Yeah, so they got a really good roster. So we'll
would
have to
have had
keep
a
an eye
solid
on
running
them.
game if Chubbs didn't go down.
Yep, yep. That's true. Um, yeah. So who do the Ravens play next week? Do you know?
I haven't looked at our
Yeah, I
schedule.
haven't. We can check. We can check it. We'll record our picks for this upcoming week's games here in a day or two. Um, Getting back to one of the topics I hit on um, is earlier the MVP race. Oh wait, we're not done with the games here. Check this out. Did you watch last night's game?
I
The
seen
Broncos
the
and Bills.
ending, and it was very disappointing for Buffalo to to lose like that. I don't know what's going on up there, but they might need to shake something up in the off season.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to do something because I think just an hour ago, they fired their offensive coordinator.
Right.
Um, which, look, offense, look, the quarterback position for the Bills has definitely regressed over the years. But they had 12 men on the field when Denver at the end of the game was kicking a field goal, and they called and now the field goal kicker missed. Now it was after the whistle. You know how they sometimes will they
Yeah,
know
they
there's a
try icing.
penalty and they'll go ahead and kick it to try to get some practice. So Buffalo had 12 men on the field at the end of the game on defense while Denver was going to kick a field goal. He kind of did a practice kick when the foul was called. He still missed it. So they moved the ball closer to the end zone. Denver kicked another field goal after that Buffalo penalty with 12 men on the field. They kicked it and they won the game. So it's like having those, and especially if you have a defensive minded head coach, to have 12 men on the field. I know it's special teams, but technically it is still defense. You're defending your end zone. Like, that is inexcusable at this point in the season. Too many turnovers at the quarterback position, too many mental lapses that cost you games. You can't lose to Denver, even though they're playing good. But Buffalo has been a playoff team. They've been winning, 10, 11, 12 games for the last 3-4 years. Like,
Right.
they were expected to make the playoffs this year, and they're sitting at 500, I believe. So I think they're going to make some changes in the offseason. You can tell they're already starting to think that with firing a prominent coach in the building, which means, look, you better get your shit together because we mean business. And if they continue to have this up and down and inconsistent rest of the second half, I think they're going to clean house after the year, and they probably should hire an offensive-minded head coach to help their quarterback. He has not looked good this year. So inconsistent. It looks like he is. I don't know I don't follow Buffalo closely, but man, doesn't look good. But what about Denver? Are you surprised that it looks like they're turning it around?
I'm very surprised. I thought Russell Wilson's career was going to be over. But look at Sean Payton out there putting it together, man.
Man, I tell you, I know. Yeah, I saw him in the post-game press conference, and he was fired up. His face was all red. You could tell he was ready to go, man. Yeah, I'm really surprised. Like everybody else, I thought Russell Wilson was done. I thought they were going to release him because nobody's going to trade him. And look, his big contract hasn't even started yet. It starts at the beginning of next season.
Jesus.
So, and he's going to be the highest paid player in history, I believe, is his contract. And so I doubt he can turn back the wheels of time and go back to, 2017, 2018 play. But he showed some glimpses last night. So who knows? I mean, we'll see if they can. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they need to have, for that franchise moving forward into next season, they need to have a good second half of the year. Because if you remember, Miami blew them out by 70 points. Remember that? It was like week 2 or 3.
Yeah.
70 points. It was like
Destroyed
73
them.
to 3. I mean, it was, just literally dismantled the team. And that shows a good coach, right? Because that alone should basically
It could have
define
demoralized
the
them enough
season.
to.
Exactly. And for Sean Payton, it looks like turn it around. And look, the players look fired up. And props to him. He's a great coach, a Super Bowl winning coach. So, we'll see what they do for the rest of the year. Now, real quick, before we get out of here, MVP race. So I had a video on, I want to get your take on this real quick because it's interesting. I never really even considered when you get into this to the halfway point of the season, who the MVP is. I just let things play out, see how it goes. But when you hit the middle half of the year, you start thinking, well, I wonder who's going to win MVP, right? CJ
Right.
Stroud has been coming on super, super hot these last few weeks, has had most valuable player performance individual. Now, I know it's a team sport, but here's my take. I'll hear your argument for MVP, and actually he might have the statistics for MVP, and I'm talking about Texans quarterback CJ Stroud.
Right.
But remember, it goes back to that old argument. It's valuable. I don't believe they will give, and I'm talking the writers who vote for MVP, a player with a are they sub 500? I believe the Texans are like 4-5, something like that. I don't think they're going to, and they may finish, I don't know, 9-8, 8-9, who knows? But let's say they finish at or around 500. I don't believe the football writers of America, whoever they may be, are going to vote, no matter how good his stats are, a MVP player from a 500. Now they are in the wild card. They could. A 500 team has made the playoffs before, right? But here's my take. Who else are you going to give it to?
Right.
Now, I'm trying not to be biased, and I honestly had a hard time choosing. Now, I know everybody's going to say, yeah, you're biased, but at the moment, and now it's not a strong choice. I'm not like, this has got to be the MVP, but what if I said Mahomes? And I try to talk myself out of it, but hear me out. His numbers are not the best he's had, right? He's not on pace to have a record year, right? And but he's on pace. They just got the number 1 seed in the AFC because the Ravens lost. So it looks like they will have the best or second best record in the NFL. They typically give that MVP award to one of the top 1, 2, or 3 teams at the end of the year. But he does not have a top 60, that's 60 wide receiver in the NFL. The Texans actually have 3. I looked the stats up yesterday. The Texans have 3 wide receivers in the top 60 of statistics, wide receivers. The Chiefs don't have 1. I think they're the first Chief wide receiver statistically comes in at like number 63. So he's doing all this with basically nothing. Like I was saying, it probably sounds similar to Baltimore. And I put now he hasn't played up to par as far as his ability. And same thing with Mahomes, right? He can play better. Or Lamar Jackson, he can play better. But look what he's got to deal with. Look who he has to play with. So that's what I was thinking. I probably have Lamar right up there. I probably have Mahomes up there. But here's my question to you. Do you agree with me? And who is your MVP? And hear me out. Or who do you think? Let's say we switched the quarterbacks. Let's say you put Mahomes or Lamar Jackson on the Texans, or you put CJ Stroud on the Chiefs or the Ravens. What do you think that looks like?
I can't evaluate CJ's talent that far to put him on the Chiefs. So definitely Patrick Mahomes should be in the conversation if he's doing that with less weapons. None of his receivers are in the top of their class. Them boys out there dropping balls and making them look bad, and he's still finding ways to win games. So he definitely should be in the conversation. CJ is good. Maybe the MVP is a stretch because he is 4-5, and I don't see the writers giving a losing or 500 team. Like, you're not proving that you're that valuable to your team by being 500.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And
I can see where you're
that's
coming
what I
from
was
with that.
saying. Yeah, and that's my whole argument with I think it'll either be Lamar Jackson or Mahomes, just because look, if the Ravens finish 1 or 2 in the AFC right up there with the Chiefs, I think you got it, because they're not going to give it. Well, what do you think about Purdy? Because who would be in the NFC at the top of the NFC? It's going to be the 49ers. And I'm saying quarterback because it always goes to the. Yes, shame on me. It could go to Hurts, correct. And now I haven't looked at his stats, but I'm sure he'll be right up there, right?
Yeah.
as far as statistics, the Eagles, he got AJ Brown to throw to,
Most
but that
definitely.
kind of, but
He's
that kind
got
of
more
falls back.
weapons.
Yes, he's definitely has more weapons. So I think it's still up in the air. I just don't believe, and we'll see where the Texans finish, but I just don't believe they're going to give a 500 quarterback. I mean, a 500 winning percentage team. The MVP, he'll get Rookie of the Year. He might get off. He'll get all the other awards, but MVP, that just goes to show you how valuable they are to winning. Right, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, their teams, they are not playing with a good offensive supporting cast, and they're still finding ways to win. They're still number one and number two in their conference. So it's still up in the air, but I think I'm leaning towards Mahomes right now. Probably, we'll see. I'm going to go over some NFC numbers, and of course, Jalen Hurts. The Chiefs play the Eagles next Monday night, so we'll dive into that later. But we'll keep an eye on the MVP race. I thought it was just interesting to talk about and bring up since Stroud is having such a good offensive rookie season. So let's see. Our picks real quick before we get out of here. Coop had a really good week. You had 11 picks correct and only 2 that were incorrect. So you would have made yourself a lot of money in Vegas.
I think the Bengals burnt me, and Buffalo.
Yeah, I got it. Let's see. You got Texans. I mean, you got the Texans Cincinnati pick incorrect. I think you chose. Well, I know you chose Cincinnati.
Yeah, I chose the Bengals.
Right, and then
I think
the Lions
I chose
and the Chargers.
Buffalo.
You chose. Let's see, Buffalo. It's a tie. So we both chose that Denver. Yeah. So, anyways, you got the only ones you got wrong were the Lions and Chargers. You chose Chargers. I chose Lions. And then the Cincy and Houston game, you chose Cincinnati, and I chose the Texans.
Oh.
But really good week. We will probably on Friday's show. No, we should do it Thursday because we'll include the Thursday night game this week. So on Thursday we'll pick our teams for this upcoming week, and I think I was just one behind you at I got 10 right and 3 incorrect. So I'll keep a tally and mark those down, and we will keep a record of that and see how we do moving forward. If we continue weeks like this, we may have to start a betting channel or something.
Right, man. We got to beat the bookie.
That's right. Make some money on here, man. Well, I appreciate it as always, Coop, with the with the podcast about nothing YouTube channel. We will link that in the description. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm going to link it in the video. So I'll link it in the description. You'll see the pop-up for his channel as I say this on the playback. And we'll also link his Instagram in the description box below. Coop, thank you as always. I really, really appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll have you back for the picks.